All right, this video is for the lesson 2.1 homework. We're converting between forms: slope-intercept, standard, and point-slope form. So our forms, point-slope form is y minus y1 equals m x minus x1. All right, the only pieces that get flopped out is this one, the m, and the x1. If they give you an ordered pair and a slope, you can put it in point slope form, and then from there you can convert it to any of the other forms. So here's our ordered pair. Remember, x always comes first. So that's x1, that's y1. Slope is always m. All we got to do is fill in the blanks now. So y1 is a 3, m is a 1/4, and then x1 is a 2. When you get negatives, remember we don't write minus a -4. What do we write instead? Yeah, so we wouldn't write x minus -4. Also, don't drop that negative sign. It would just be x plus 4. So be really careful with your signs. Okay, way throwback now. Given the ordered pairs, write the equation of the line in slope-intercept and standard form. You should be able to do slope-intercept form like a champ. Remember, you take your ordered pairs and we can stack them up. Draw a line through the commas. This is x, this is y. And the calculator is going to do all the heavy lifting for us. All right. So again, make sure you always X out. You're starting fresh. It's the green box. We put an X next to the A. We put a Y next to the B. Type our X's in, -3 and 6. Type our Y's in, 5 and -7. It's menu 4, 1, 3. So make sure that blue box, you're not sitting on any of your data points. Make sure it's underneath. Menu 4, 1, 3. Change the X list to X, the Y list to Y. All right. My slope here is gross, but we can fix that. And then my B value is a 1. Those are the only two pieces we need, M and B. So let me take that really gross slope and type it in here. And that 3, remember when it looks like that? How it repeats there? Look at it down here. Okay, see all those 3s? Type a whole bunch of 3s into the calculator side. And then do menu 2, 2. We don't do any decimals. Okay? So my slope is a -4/3. Do we remember slope-intercept form? Okay, yep. So slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b. So for this one, we're looking for the m and we're looking for the b. Looking for the slope and the y-intercept, which we've got, m and b. So y equals, slope is -4/3, tack on the x, plus the y-intercept. We should be able to do that. We should be able to get it to slope-intercept form because we did that a lot last year. Standard form is where kind of everything hit the fan, right? All right, a review of standard form. First rule of standard form, no fractions. If we see fractions, we have to get rid of them. Does anybody remember how to get rid of the fraction? Multiply by the bottom. Whatever's on the bottom, each piece gets multiplied by that. Okay? So now I have 3y. And what happens is this 3 will cancel out that bottom part. And so all I'm left with is negative 4x. And it all falls in line. There's no fraction anymore. And then 1 times 3 is 3. All right, so that's the first rule, no fractions. Second rule, x and y have to be on this left-hand side. So how do I take a whole piece and move it? Do the opposite. You're either going to add it or you're going to subtract it. And I'm writing it at the front here because the x needs to go first. It's kind of a prima donna. 3y is positive, so plus 3y. This cancels. And then the last thing we check for is the x positive. Is the x a positive number? Yeah. Then we're good. If it's negative, say it had been this, right? If that x is negative, and it happens, everybody's sign changes. So positive 3y is negative 3y, positive 3 is negative 3. Again, prima donna. X has to be important. It's got to be positive. It's got to come first. All the attention is on it. Okay? But for this one, that's my answer. You are going to have to do that on the Ed puzzle. Ooh, that should be an equals. Equals. On the Ed puzzle tomorrow. I'm going to do number 4 because number 4 is kind of gross. All right, number 4. Let's do slope-intercept form. So negative 2 comma 9. And then negative 7 comma 8. These are my x's. These are my y's. Okay, so I'm going to start fresh. X out of this. New list in spreadsheets. Put an x next to the A, a y next to the B, and then type your numbers in. So my x's are negative 2 and negative 7. My y's are 9 and positive 8. Menu 4, 1, 3. Change the x list to x, the y list to y. And here's what we need, slope and y-intercept. So they're both decimals, so I'm going to have to convert them. No decimals. Okay. Scoot that over a little bit. All right, so 0.2, menu 2, that's a fifth. And then 9.4, menu 2, 47 over 5. And that's okay. I know that's scary looking, but it's okay. So slope-intercept form, y equals, slope comes first, then the x, then the y-intercept. Slope-intercept form's done. Again, that one we should be able to do. So now we got to convert it. So what's the first rule of standard form? No fractions. So how do I get rid of that fraction? Multiply by the 5. Each piece. What do I do if those bottoms are different numbers? You can do the I'll show you one where the bottoms are different. Okay? All right, so this is 5y. And then this cancels, this cancels. So I'm left with a 1x. We don't write 1x. We write x. And then we've got a 47 here. All right, second rule of standard form. What do we do?
X has to be with the y.
So how do I move it?
Minus.
So now I've got negative x. Now 5y is positive, so I do plus 5y. And that equals 47. What's the last rule of standard form?
X may be negative.
So flip everything, right? Negative x becomes positive x, plus 5y becomes negative 5y, positive 47 becomes negative 47. Okay, say you've got two different fractions, right? Y equals, let's keep it simple. 1/2 x plus 1/3. I could find the common denominator. Anybody know what the common denominator is here? 6. But it's a little bit trickier when you multiply by a 6. Okay? So I could multiply everything by a 6, right? When I do that, I actually want to multiply these two things together. It's not as simple as just canceling out. But I can do that. 6 times 1/2 gives me a 3. So now I've got a 3x. 6 times 1/3 gives me a 2. Okay? You can even do it a piece at a time. Say we have 1/7 x plus 2/5. Okay? That's a big number to multiply by. We could do a 35, but we could do a piece at a time. I could knock out the 7 first. I could multiply each piece by a 7. So this would cancel, and I've got just the x. And then 7 times 2/5. 2/5. Oh my goodness, if I could multiply, we'd be doing good, y'all. Lord. Maybe I shouldn't be allowed to type. Plus 14/5. And then I can knock out the 5. I could take each piece and multiply it by 5. And it's the same. It would come out the same even if you use common denominators. So 35y equals 5x plus 14. It'd come out the same either way. Okay, so just two different options there, so you've got them. All right. Now, write the slope-intercept form and standard form of the equation of each line. Okay, so these are written in point-slope form. So what I can do, the easiest one is always going to be slope-intercept form. So for slope-intercept form, all I have to do is break this thing down and get y by itself. So first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to distribute before I do anything else. So everything over here is going to stay like that. So negative 7/4 times x is negative 7/4 x. Negative 7/4 times a negative 4, I can do that in my calculator. So let's see here. Negative 7/4 times a negative 4 gives me a positive 7. Okay, not too bad. So break it down, break down the parentheses. I need to get everything away from the y. So what do I need to move? So this cancels. Didn't touch the negative 7/4 x, but 7 minus 5 is a 2. It's in slope-intercept form. That's the easiest one to go to, is slope-intercept form. Okay, so standard form, what do I need to do first?
Get rid of the fraction.
How?
Multiply everything by 4.
Multiply everything by 4. So 4 times y is 4y. This is going to cancel out for me, so negative 7x is left. And then 2 times 4 is 8. Okay, what do I do next? Move that 7x. 7x, 4y is positive, so plus 4y. And then what's the last thing I check for? Is it?
No.
Then we're done. Okay. I'm going to do 10. Because what I'm going to do with 10 is I'm going to get 10 into slope-intercept form. Okay? So this is in standard form. To get it into slope-intercept form, I just have to get the y by itself. This one's easy to get the y by itself. What do I do?
Subtract y.
Okay. I want that x to come first, so I'm going to write minus 7x or negative 7x, and then the 5 is positive, plus 5. So to graph it, if it's in slope-intercept form, it's so easy to graph. Whatever number, that plain old number at the end, that's your y-intercept. So on the y-axis, I would go to positive 5 and I'd put me a point. There's 1 point. The negative 7 is my slope, but I need to write it like a fraction. So how would I write negative 7 as a fraction? Rise over run. This is your up, down. This is your left, right. So for this number, am I going to go up or down?
Down.
So I'm going to go down 7, and then positive 1. Is that left or right?
Right.
Right. So from that point that I just marked, I'm going to count down 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then right 1. As long as I got 2 points, I've got a straight line. And it's graphed. So graphing from slope-intercept form is really, really easy. Okay? The rest of the page is yours. You've got 5 questions. If you get done, you want me to check it? Absolutely 100%. I will check it for you. Okay? So tomorrow